saw whistleblowers in that event. One of the people who blew the whistle on what was happening during the era of state capture in government, the former government spokesperson, Themba Maseko. He was pushed out when he refused to give government communication deals to the Gupta family and the New Age newspaper. Well, he was also due to speak at today's event, but he tweeted this afternoon that he had had an attempted robbery last night. He joins us now. Themba, good afternoon to you. I do appreciate the time. What happened last night?
Good afternoon, Stephen, and to your viewers. Basically, my wife and I were asleep. At around 3:15 this morning, we heard sounds of footsteps in the roof, and I woke up, went to investigate, and through the bathroom window, I saw one chap actually in the roof. And my wife heard footsteps of somebody else in the other part of the bedroom. It's still inexplicable why they left all the other rooms downstairs and came to the roof of our bedroom. That really rattled us. We called for support from the neighborhood security company. They came and warning shots were fired, and the perpetrators basically disappeared into the night. We live in a place that has very high walls and electric fencing. The electric fencing didn't seem to stop them. They got to as close to our bedroom, a few meters away from my window. So it was a very scary event. The only reason why they didn't make any progress with whatever they were trying to do was that our neighborhood security came to the picture and they were chased away. But they climbed through a very high wall, no sign of any forced entry, straight into the roof of our bedroom. Their intentions still questionable at this stage.
Sure, Themba, I mean, for someone to get over an electric fence, okay, maybe that's doable, but to go straight for the roof, to not actually try and steal anything, to go straight to where your bedroom is, I mean, that's incredible.
It was scary, Stephen, especially because my bedroom is actually on the upper floor of the house. So it was very clear that their intentions was get to where we were sleeping, not to steal anything on the ground floor. So no forced entry, nothing. No sign of how they actually climbed over the fence, electric fence, into our yard. So it is mysterious. The timing of the incident is also very suspicious because obviously it is a time when the Zondo report was released. I'm still convinced that in fact our environment is very safe. But the fact that they were able to breach our security is something that, in my view, requires further investigation.
Well, also, we've seen so many things happen to whistleblowers. We saw you lose your job. We saw other people losing their jobs, bad things happening to them. I mean, there's a context to all of this. It's the context that makes this scary.
And I think it's something that requires urgent attention on the part of government. I was pleased that the president did indicate that government was looking into ways of supporting whistleblowers, but this is really scary, not just to whistleblowers, but to our families as well. My wife is rattled as we speak, and it's something that is of great concern to me, my family, and friends. But, I mean, this is clearly an attempt to silence us, and we will continue not to be silenced, to expose corruption. But at this stage, we are extremely concerned about our security. It is unfortunate that I was not able to join the press briefing by other whistleblowers, but I fully support the statement that was issued this afternoon.
Well, what kind of protection do you think people should do? I mean, you support, I presume, the idea of some kind of fund to look after whistleblowers, also some kind of compensation for whistleblowers. I mean, you lost your job, other people lost their house.
I support some kind of financial support to whistleblowers in the form of loss of income, in the form of providing psychosocial support that whistleblowers require at such difficult times. But it's very clear that as we get closer to the conclusion of the Zondo report and the prosecution process, the issue of providing security support to whistleblowers is going to become even more urgent. And my experience this morning is a clear indication that, in fact, it's a wake-up call to government, to all whistleblowers, to take extra precautions to make sure that we are safe, because the state capturer facilitators and participants are not going to rest. They're going to try and intimidate as many of us as possible. So the issue of security, in my view, is number one priority, especially as we move closer to the process of prosecutions.
Do you think government is listening, Themba? I mean, do you think people who actually make these decisions are listening? You say the president said what he said, but do you think people are really listening? Do you think it's going to happen?
I think that they're getting the message. I mean, I've used my own connections to make sure that I bring this to the attention of the law enforcement agencies. I've reached out to my friends who work in the presidency to let them aware that this is what I went through, but this is what other whistleblowers are likely to go through. So I'm hoping that, in fact, the matter will receive urgent attention before we lose another whistleblower, such as what happened to Babita.
Themba Maseko, former government spokesperson, thank you very much indeed. Really do appreciate the time. Someone who blew the whistle on corruption in government. As it relates